Been a while since we've reviewed a mobile game, eh? Unless you count mentioning a few games which were released on Steam and had a mobile app store option like Catan Universe or Fishing Planet. But we haven't reviewed an exclusively mobile game on this channel since my Pokemon Go review back in 2016. Unfortunately, that video has aged like milk, but the intro is still pretty entertaining to watch. Anyway, today we're talking about the Pokemon trading card game Pocket Game, a free mobile game adapted from the Pokemon trading card game, but the rules have been simplified somewhat to make it easier and quicker to pick up and play. But now I'm going to just tell you the true reason I'm doing this video. That's right, I want you to sit down and look at my old Pokemon cards with me. I've got Charizard and the other starters. The legendary birds, Mewtwo. I traded away my ancient Mew because, being a child at the time, I was a complete fool. I've got like no doubles, even though you need more than one card to make a deck, but I wasn't in it for the decks. I was in it for collecting all original 150, regardless of which card sets they were from. From the start of my collection with a ratty-looking Oddish found outside in the spring after the snow melted, to wheelin' and dealin' to trade multiple other cards for a pretty crappy condition muck, if anything, these cards are a testament to my childhood tenacity and determination to wheel and deal with other little kids to try to complete my collection. Growing up, Pokemon cards had a mysticalness to them which made them feel like they had real powers associated with them. Oh yeah, right, we're doing a review. Sorry, I am Atratzu the Scatterbrained. Let's get on with this review. You kids and your generally better designed and easier to understand video games. Growing up, we literally made our own rules to how to play the Pokemon trading card game because I didn't know how to play. No one knew how to play. I remember using the trainer card Switch, and I told the other kid that we switched our battling Pokemon. So I took his Pokemon and he took mine until mine was about to die, and then I played Switch again and won the game. I think we were gambling prize cards too, so I won a card or two from that game. Cheatin'! And one of the few examples when gambling didn't bite me in the butt. Moreover, back in my day, just having a Pokemon trading card game video game was really unique. I don't know where my old crappy beginner CD-ROM went from when I was a kid. It's probably hiding in the same place as the left socks disappeared to in the laundry. But when I was very little, I bought the beginner 2-deck box with the very elusive first edition Machamp. In addition to having a fighting and water deck, you got a PC game, which was... I'll not mince words with you, it's pretty awful. The animation looks like YouTube poops. I think Julie is gonna unzip her jaw and devour everyone I know and love. And even the gameplay elements were mediocre at best. The water deck won 9 times out of 10. Good for nothing Machamp. I don't remember ever successfully evolving a Mon all the way to Machamp because the water deck just destroyed you. But that's childhood memories, and we've come a long way since the late 90s, early 2000s. And the Nightmare Fuel, which was Julie the Pokemon trainer from Bootleg Anime Land. We've had a few Pokemon TCG video games over the years. One of my middle school friends had one on Game Boy Color. And it looks like there have been other games too, but I didn't tune in again to the Pokemon trading card game until after playing a lot of Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering Arena. And by that time, the Pokemon Trading Company had been running the Pokemon trading card game online behind my back for years. So I installed it a few years ago, redeemed some of the actual Pokemon trading card booster packs on it, and I still haven't gotten around to playing and reviewing it properly. Look everyone, I'm a busy guy. I've got other random games to play and review. So yeah, maybe we'll come back sometime and talk about other Pokemon trading card game stuff, but today we are talking about Pokemon trading card game Pocket. Pokemon trading card game Pocket was developed by Creatures Inc. and DeNA. DeNA? D-N-A? DeNA? Again, it's another developer, and I don't know how to pronounce it. It's uppercase D, lowercase e, uppercase N, uppercase A, all together, no spaces. I don't know. I'm illiterate. Leave me alone. Anyway, developed by Creatures Inc. and DeNA and released on iOS and Android in 2024. It's a trading card game where you can collect, trade, and battle. It's kind of like what we did in the late 90s, early 2000s on the playground, except without the bullying and stealing at recess. Children are monsters. Let's quickly do a reminder crash course for how to play the Pokemon trading card game. The win condition, the way you win the game, is by knocking out your opponent's Pokemon by attacking them until their hit points reach 0. After knocking out a Pokemon, draw a prize card. Draw all your prize cards to win the game. So you have 2 players. You flip a coin to see who goes first. The player going first can't attack or play supporter cards. I hate going first, can't do anything, but apparently there are specific decks which do well going second. Don't know, I'm not that deep into it. Players shuffle their deck, draw cards, place a basic Pokemon in the active spot. If you don't have a basic Pokemon, you mulligan. That's where you put your cards back into your deck and reshuffle, then redraw. Your opponent draws a card each time you mulligan. After both players have a basic active Pokemon, both can put down basic Pokemon in the bench location behind the respective active Pokemon. Then you draw cards from the top of your deck and put them down as prize cards. After you knock out one of your opponent's Pokemon, you get to draw one of your prize cards. You don't draw your opponent's prize cards. That's little Atratzu stealing other kids' cards. Once a player has drawn all their prize cards, they win. There's a lot of smaller nuance rules which we're just going to gloss over because I'm prone to getting lost in the weeds anyway. But really quickly, you draw 7 cards at the start. You can have 5 bench Pokemon. Neither player can evolve on their first turn. You can only attack if you have enough energy. You can't evolve a Pokemon when it's first played. When attacking or defending, remember there are weaknesses and resistances. Abilities can be played while a Pokemon is on the bench, and as a general rule of thumb, if the card says you can do it, you can do it. Yeah, even with relatively simple trading card games, they break rules whenever they want. At least with video game formats, you can't misinterpret cards to mean swap you and your opponent's active Pokemon when it actually said swap your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. After the first turn, typically gameplay proceeds as followed. The first thing you do when your turn starts is draw a card, and then curse the heart of the cards because it's not the one you wanted. Should have said heart of the cards and believed harder. After drawing, you put down 1 energy, play trainer cards, but only 1 supporter trainer card, evolve a Pokemon which was already in play at the start of the turn, put down benched Pokemon, end your turn without attacking or if unable to attack, or select a move and attack, which also ends your turn after you put damage counters on the card or knock out the opposing active Pokemon.
I'll live.
So we've reviewed some of the basic stuff for the Pokemon trading card game. It's a trading card game, so remember we just quickly reviewed it. There's meta decks, gimmicks with the current season or deck themes that are out, etc., etc. However, let me remind you that I described Pokemon Pocket as a light version of the trading card game. Instead of having 6 prize cards, you just get a point for knocking out an opponent's Pokemon. It's kind of problematic if you lose an EX Pokemon, which is worth 2 points, so games go by pretty darn quick. Instead of 5 bench Pokemon, you have 3. Instead of a deck of 60 cards, you have a deck of 20 cards, so you can only have 2 copies of any card. On that note, instead of relying on drawing and playing energy cards, every turn you get a free energy to use. In Pokemon Pocket, energy isn't even a card at all. So at the start of your turn, you still get to draw a card, which will be either a trainer or Pokemon card. So that cuts back on needing to have energy cards at all. It makes the game more action-oriented, instead of being mana or energy starved with nothing to do but wait and lose. I wouldn't know anything about that. Why does it sound like I've experienced something like that? I'm fine. Typically, battling goes like this. We all want to go second, and losing the coin flip is often enough to ruin the whole game. But battling feels like coin flips anyway, sometimes literally, especially if you use the Misty Trainer support card. Naturally, I'm exasperated to lose battles, but I don't feel like it's 100% my own fault. I just lost one or all of the coin flips. I don't battle all that often, but there's usually a few basic strategies you can play around with decks. For example, a Pikachu EX deck wants to get Pikachu out as soon as possible and to fill up the bench as soon as possible to do the most damage. A Misty deck is all about getting a strong water type and powering up super early in the game by getting lucky coin flips in a row to have a fully charged Lapras or Articuno on turn 1 or 2. Or for a Psychic deck, you'll want to have a charged up Mewtwo EX as soon as possible by having it out early, or having a Gardevoir to place extra energy on it and thus power up the team even faster. The meta will shift as new card expansions are released, so by my examples, they were decks that were pretty early in the game, and I usually don't darken the door of the Pokemon Pocket Battle tab, but if I need to, I use one of those decks. I've focused on comparison between Pokemon the trading card game, battling, and Pokemon Pocket. Pokemon Pocket has battling, and some people are super into it. That's okay, good for them. But that's not what's kept my attention. Having 2 booster packs to open every day. That's why I'm here, and why I still have this game installed on my phone. Maybe it's living out a childhood fantasy of having Pokemon cards every day. Or maybe it's because booster packs at my local card shop can range from $5 to $10 a pack. But think about how much money I'd have to spend to have this many cards in real life. I don't actually want that. What would I do with thousands of cards taking up space and not actually playing the games competitively? It probably speaks more to what my perception of what I thought a rich kid was. It's having rich parents who buy you all the video games and all the trading cards you could possibly want. Unlimited Pokemon, unlimited video games, unlimited entertainment. So what else can you do if you're not playing Pokemon Pocket to battle? I'm glad you asked. You can build your own deck from an in-game template or flex those creative muscles and build your own deck however you want. Want a deck with only cards that cause sleep? Got you covered. Want a deck that has way too many energy types in it? Too easy. Want a deck that has huge HP Pokemon? Here you go, champ. Sometimes a deck template will be a good idea, but the extra Pokemon they put in the deck make no dang sense, so I just swap them out. That's typically how I go about making my decks. But of course, those of you out there who want to win badly will just search online for "What's the best Pokemon trading card game pocket deck?" and thus play the meta with everyone else who just lives to beat me up. Look, I just want the seasonal badge. Please leave me alone. Let me have this one. I'll stop playing after I have the badge. Speaking of deck building, let's look over a Pokemon card and explain some of the symbols on here. We're really dummy-proofing this video today, but hopefully it's interesting for you. First, the obvious stuff. Name on the top, HP or hit points in the top right corner. The energy symbol next to the HP is the Pokemon's type, which is also the type of damage inflicted when attacking. In the top left corner, it'll say Basic, Stage 1, or Stage 2, and show what it evolves from. Next, you've got the shiny picture in the center. Take time to praise the excellent artistic illustrations, which have hopefully not been stolen. Then you have the Pokemon's attacks or abilities, the energy requirement for that move. Some attacks require 1 water energy, while others require 2 Psychic and 2 Colorless, meaning 4 energies in total, but only 2 need to be Psychic. And some really wacky attacks have 2 different types of energy. The damage for the attack is next to the attack on the right, and any other details are noted under the move. Stuff like flip 2 coins, damage is multiplied by the number of heads, etc. Next, at the bottom of the card, you have the weakness, if it has one. If a Pokemon has a weakness, it takes additional damage when hit by that element. Forget everything you knew from the Pokemon video games. Geodude and Machamp are fighting types, Charizard is a fire type, and Ghastly is a psychic type. Check the weaknesses, don't trust the rock, paper, scissors that you knew. Then there's retreat costs. This is something I overlooked as a kid, but as an adult, it's kind of critical for some strategies. You need to discard the number of energies shown on the retreat cost. Some Pokemon have no retreat costs, so you can retreat them without losing any energy. Others have 1, 2, 3, or 4 energy retreat costs. On EX Pokemon, they have a special rule in the bottom right, which reminds you that if they're knocked out, your opponent gets 2 points instead of 1. In the bottom left, you have the card's rarity. Gone are the days of Circle is common, Diamond is uncommon, and Star is rare. Just another reminder that I'm old. In Pokemon Pocket, you have Diamonds, Stars, Crowns, and Rainbow Star. I like that there's overlap between rarities and card abilities. You don't need the rarest cards to make a competitive deck. I have several different choices of Charizard EX cards. They all have the same HP and moves and serve the exact same purpose. However, the rarer card looks cooler. It's kind of a flex on how good your pack opening RNG is, or that you're a rich kid whose dad works at Nintendo and have unrestrained access to his credit card. I've gotten crazy lucky with some card draws, and it's really fun when that happens. My favorite cards are the ones which play an animation when you get it. When it first happened, I was shocked, and then dismayed because I had turned off the music because I play with my phone sound off. But thank the heart of the cards, I can replay animations whenever I want. Again, let me foot stomp. This is my favorite part of Pokemon Pocket, collecting Pokemon cards. So we've already talked about it, but the natural question you should be asking yourselves is, how do I get more cards in Pokemon Pocket? As we've already said, every day you get 2 free booster packs. Forever ago, when I started, it took forever to get enough cards to start making decks. But once you reach that point, that's when the fun begins. And of course, if you were enjoying yourself, you can always pay for the premium pass to get an extra card pack every day too. I don't do that though. I gotta save my money for the next Steam sale. In addition to your 2 free daily booster packs, you can spend pack hourglasses to open more booster packs. You'll get pack hourglasses from doing a lot of stuff in the game, from finishing daily tasks, buying more with shop tickets, from in-game promos, missions, solo battles, etc., etc. Just a whole lot of different ways. And that applies to most of the currency stuff in Pocket. I've been slowly saving up pack hourglasses over the past year, so I'm just excited to open up like 100 card packs for this video. It's my reward to myself for making this review. If anyone's interested in watching all the pack openings, I can slap them up on Atratzu, etc., so that we can all get the dopamine rush together. Leave a comment and I'll see what I can do. So outside of booster packs, how else can you get cards? You have another stamina track to Wonder Pick. When a friend opens a pack, you can pick a random card from their pack of cards, and if you're lucky, you could pick the rare card from their pack. Again, this is one of those rare times I've gotten crazy lucky. First, a friend of mine got lucky, then I got lucky picking from their pack. You can see what your friends got before making a selection. So instead of wonder picking Tyler's pack of only diamond rarity Pokemon, you can pick XXX Sephiroth 1337's crazy pack of rare cards you don't have. Oh, and once again, there's Wonder Hourglasses. Just like pack hourglasses, which restore stamina so you can pick more cards faster. You can also get a few trainer cards from the shop. Actually, you'll absolutely want those trainer cards. Nearly everyone's favorite supporter trainer card is in the shop. Professor Oak's Research. What's that? I could just draw extra cards for free? May the heart of the cards bless you, Professor Oak. Also, stay away from my mom. You will want 2 of those for sure, but you should grab 2 of each of the trainer cards at least. But whoa, hold on. Shop tickets? How do we get those? You get them from battling and being thanked after a match, someone saying thanks after they wonder pick from you. You can get them through special events, but the best way to get them is by going to your social tab, then Community Showcase. This is where you go to see your friends and general community's display boards and binder creations. Every day after I finish my dailies, I go to this list and like everyone shown here. So it's critical you slap together at least 1 binder and display board so your friends can do what I do. Not everyone does it, but those of us who do it appreciate it very much. Oh, and no offense, I don't look at anything anyone makes. But I do like them every day. You know what else I like? That's right, every time they do a special promotion in the app. Wait, what? Did you think I was hinting at something else? Well, maybe that's just a guilty conscience acting up and you should do the thing you were thinking about. Sometimes the special event is a special solo battle mode to get promo cards. Other times it's a special free wonder pick every couple of hours with special rare wonder picks which have significantly rarer and better cards. The last way I can think of picking up some cards in the game is by trading. At this time, it's the newest feature and seems like you can only trade Pokemon from older booster packs. You need to match rarity, and it has its own currency and stamina setup, but at least it's an option. I didn't say it was a good one, but it is an option. Once you reach the point where you're getting lots of extra cards you don't need, after all, you can only have 2 of the same card in the deck, you'll eventually ask yourself, I've got all these cards, what do I do with the extra cards? The first obvious answer is trading your doubles for cards you don't have yet. But there's no good feature for doing this in the app unless you're talking to someone on Reddit, Discord, in person, or something. Somehow you need to figure out which cards you have and which you need and compare notes to see what cards the other person needs. They've recently added a wish list option you can display on your profile, so we're slowly making progress towards an easier solution. Slowly. You really need to go through your collection, toggle on all cards so you can see the empty slots where you're missing them, then go through your collection side by side with a friend to see what you and your friend are missing. At some point it would be nice to just post the cards you don't want someplace and make it public to all your friends or the community at large. Or like on Hearthstone where you can disenchant unwanted cards for dust to craft better cards. But I suppose the method we have now does create community better than just slapping stuff into an auction house. For your extra 100 Pidgey cards you can't get rid of, you can actually combine duplicates to add flair to those cards. For example, I bought a bunch of Professor Research cards from the store to give my Oak the highest tier of flair. 1 part just to see, for science! 2 part because I use that card all the time. And of course, once again, you have another currency material thing required to get flair, and it's purely aesthetic. But you think playing rare alternative art versions of a card is a flex on your opponent? All the whales in Pokemon Pocket will have those rare version cards at the highest flair, meaning they get the rare cards again and again and again, and sacrifice the extras to the heart of the cards. But there's always whales in free games which fund it for the rest of us. So thank them. Even though you're angry being steamrolled by the latest meta deck with the shiniest cards, they didn't really pay to win. They just won the coin flips better. We've already talked a little bit about deck building already, however, I would like to expand on that a bit more. Since energy cards are completely out of the equation, you just select the energy type, or let the default settings take care of itself as you build the deck. Pick Pokemon and trainer cards to put into a 20 card deck, and those 20 card slots fill up fast. When building a deck, when you just start playing Pokemon Pocket and don't have very many cards, the guiding rule of thumb will be stick to one type, make a mono deck, try to pick cards which have low energy attack costs and do high damage, and if possible, get a few evolutions in there too, and play to do as much damage as early in the game as possible. More than likely, if you're trying to play competitively, you'll probably lose. But at least you can step into the ring and maybe win some stuff. Alternatively, you could be building decks for solo play. You'll need at least one deck of each element type to play solo games on beginner, advanced, intermediate, and expert difficulty. As soon as we get new game expansions or sets, we get new solo matches to play, and it's absolutely worth playing solo games for the free stuff you get from winning. Doubly so if they're having a special promo going on. I got myself a nice Lapras early in the game for doing it. And if you want to know a dirty little secret, on solo play, you can set the game to autoplay. The autoplay makes some awful decisions, but I can let the auto battle take over for me while I play something else on the computer. Something like Guns of Icarus Alliance or Star Wars The Old Republic. Maybe. Wink. Wink, 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 wink. Anyway, as time goes on, you'll get more cards and then you can build meta decks or build decks around themes like the earlier given examples. Benching Pokemon so Pikachu can kick butt, or playing a water Pokemon who needs an ungodly amount of energy and slapping a Misty card down only to fail the coin flips. It's the best deck. I love playing it. Once you have the necessary cards to unlock pre-built deck recipes, you should give them a try to see if something sparks your attention. Pre-built decks are a lot like decks you can buy at card shops, or back when I was little and I bought the beginner fighting and water decks. They're good for learning, not always the best optimized, but more than sufficient to get you started and playing the game. What I did was use the deck's recipe, then slowly over time change cards out, throw in a card like Snorlax to sit, tank, and die while I power up my heavy hitter on the bench, or swap out supporting Pokemon for other supporting Pokemon. Sometimes there are newly released Pokemon cards from other sets which have better attacking moves. Sometimes it's just a different illustration of the same card, but with new moves. And so I swap them out too. The best part is if you ever ruin the deck, you can always start over from the beginning with the first deck recipe. And of course, you could always just not battle. Just collect cards and make pre-built decks and set your solo battles to auto battle. Whatever you do, make sure you have at least one display, binder, and deck, so people can swap likes with you for store currency. I've got a few friends who have nothing, and they can't get likes as easily without them. Phew, and we're at the conclusion. I'm as relieved as you are to be here. It's a lot of work to put together these videos. I'm relieved to be at the end of my recording session or video editing cycle. But regarding Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, do you really need me to recap or remind you why I like this game? In summary, I like getting 2 free booster packs a day. I think we've talked enough about it. At some point, we'll probably be back with Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. If you want to give me a hand on growing this channel, you can send this video to a friend whom you think might find it useful or entertaining. But I do indeed hope this video has been informative or entertaining. But that's it for me. How many of you are playing Pokemon Pocket out there? What do you think of it? Thanks again for watching. I'm Atratzu, and I'll see you in the next review.